Football is back, and BetOnline is your number one information source for all your sports wagering info with all the up-to-the-minute stats, news, scores, and matchup breakdowns. Hey everybody, it's Lloyd Spence, and listen, get the latest game odds, spreads, and totals from the NFL and college football at your fingertips with BetOnline's real-time updates on statistics, news, and odds. From week 1 all the way to the college football playoff and Super Bowl, BetOnline gives you access to the best football promotions and contests available anywhere online. So head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. And remember to use our promo code BLEAV, B-L-E-A-V, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. It's BetOnline. It's where the game starts. Tell them the Noisemaker sent you.
Popcorn World. Popcorn World. Now, yes, I can. So you can get this groove in the back of a can. You can make it round the world when it holds in your hand. Popcorn World. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. I said popcorn make you smile. Ah. Popcorn World. Popcorn World. Popcorn World. Popcorn World. The Popcorn World.
You don't stop. Never eat your pig cause your pig is a cop. I got your rap. You don't stop. Never eat your pig cause your pig is a cop. I got your rap patrol on the Gat Patrol. Ladies love me long time like Tupac Zone. Like Bo, like Doe, like Dro, Nitro. And if you don't know, now you know. You know I got up to the house
in my 6'4".
Oh snap! Guess what I saw? Standing on the front stoop, hanging out the window.
Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre is at the door. That jumped out the rock and said, "What's up?"
Designated driver, take the keys to my truck.
Pauline in my cook, get nice, split the blunt up.
Come on, everybody, let's get the fuck up.
Now, what y'all wanna do?
What you gonna do? Wanna be a baller,
B-ballers,
shot
callers.
I wish I had a girl who looked good, I would call her. I was like,
You're now listening to BLEAV in the ACC with Heisman Trophy winner and Florida State legend, Mr. Charlie Ward, Wave 3 TV, and Burn Creek Hall of Famer Kendrick Haskins, and Mr. Talking Noise himself, and of course Mama Noise's name, Lloyd Spence. And now, it's time for BLEAV in the ACC.
Another fine day is upon us here, BLEAV in the ACC. I'm here early. Kendrick Haskins is already throwing shots at me. Unnecessary shots at my
Well, whatever do you mean?
You know what I mean. The Cowboys, we just beat 2 high school teams. Why is that necessary?
I'm just pointing out that the ESPN. I'm pointing out that ESPN is overhyping Dallas's first 2 wins.
That is not how
they beat up 2 bad teams from New York.
Charlie Ward, that is not how it was framed. That is not how it was framed.
They
at
beat
all.
up 2 bad teams from New York.
You know what? Based on what you just said and the fact that I'm right here in front of the play.
And that was a humble flex.
See, that's not a humble flex. That's not a humble flex. That's just somebody.
You're right. There was nothing humble about it. You're correct. I just don't
I'm not flexing. I'm sitting there telling you Dallas is getting too much hype for the bad teams they've beaten. They've beaten two bad teams with two bad quarterbacks.
Well, one of those teams won. We won. So
yeah, you beat a team that's tanking.
I don't care who we beat.
You started your season down 60-0.
Very true. Very true. But we recovered well. How you doing, Charlie Ward? You all right? You can't hear us? Okay, Charlie Ward's working out some sound issues. He's trying to figure it out for us. And then he's gonna get it worked out, and he'll be here with us momentarily. But at any rate, we are here. We are back with BLEAV in the ACC. We're ready. Obviously, we're ready to have a good time because we've already started having a good time. So that part has not changed.
Hi.
There he is.
Thanks for putting me in.
Not a problem, Charlie Ward. You see how I'm taking this?
Did you see the unwarranted humble flex I got hit with?
It was not unwarranted. It was very much warranted.
So what was that about?
Because he keeps flexing on his team.
I'm not flexing. I'm sitting here saying that Dallas is getting way too much hype for the bad teams they beat.
Oh, no.
But that's not how he phrased it, Charlie Ward. He said, we beat two high school teams.
Well,
that's a flex. That's a flex. That's a flex.
That's not a flex. That's saying the truth that they haven't beaten anybody.
These are all NFL players. It just didn't look like.
Well, are we sure the Jets quarterback is an NFL player?
Touche. I can't. That one I can't argue against. Touche. All right.
And, you know,
he's an NFL player.
I mean, the jersey says that for sure.
Right? Yeah, his playing time and his contract says that.
Right.
Right.
You're
right.
Sure.
You are correct. You are correct. But like I said, my Cowboys are getting way too much hype for the two teams that they've beaten.
I love it. I love it because it makes it so much more enjoyable at the end of the season when they let you down.
They won't let me down because I don't have that high expectation. I've seen this movie. I've seen this movie so many times. I don't get excited in September.
There you go. There you go. What did you say, Charlie?
I said they have a good defense.
We don't know that yet because of the two quarterbacks they faced so far.
I think you can bet on Michael Parsons though. Like I think.
Yes, you can take Michael Parsons to the bank.
Yeah, I think you can bet on him for sure.
I do think Dallas has a really good defense. It's just I'm not getting overly excited when, you know.
It's way early. It's way early to get excited about any of it.
Daniel Jones and
But you have to look at the way they have been playing, not so much who they've played. I think that happens a lot with people in their judgment. I know you're trying to fly on the radar, but
I learned from the best. The thing is like they'll probably blow out Arizona again this Sunday, and then the hype train is just going to be unbearable. This is coming from a Cowboys fan and I'm tired of hearing about the Cowboys.
And listen, the schedule on paper looks like it's going to get harder. So it's going to be interesting. It'll be interesting.
We'll find out about week 5. At week 5, that's when we'll find out when they play at San Francisco.
Yep, I agree. Well, listen, we're about to find out some things this weekend in the ACC. But before we get to that, we do want to review what just happened in the ACC this past week, and it was interesting. It was some interesting games.
Some interesting games this week.
This one was not one of those games. Not one of those interesting games. Bethune-Cookman graciously took the check that was written for them, and also the whooping that comes along with it. So, and then got off the field, which is ironic because this is a game last year that Bethune-Cookman almost won. Was it last year? That was last year, right? When they almost won that game.
They competed again. I can't remember what it was, but it was recent.
But it was a little bit better competition.
Yeah. So,
and Miami wasn't back that time.
They weren't back. There appeared to be something happening.
They do look pretty good this year.
They look better. They look much better.
Wow.
I don't know what else to say here other than Virginia, please just keep fighting.
Right.
It's got to turn around at some point. It didn't this week. Against Maryland. They got Tagovailoa,
Who is really good.
Talia Tagovailoa, who played really well. Like
He's really good.
yeah, he's actually.
I'm surprised he doesn't get more. I guess because he's at Maryland. The reason why he doesn't get more hype than he has been, because he's pretty good.
He is, and I think it's just they just as a team, they're just okay. They're not a great team. He's just a great player. But he won't be in the shadows for too much longer. This game was a lot closer than we all thought it would be. And I have to ask one, Charlie Ward, were you concerned during this game?
Well, actually, I didn't get a chance to watch the end of the game because I was meeting or doing something. And so I missed the last few possessions in the fourth quarter. We were up 31-10 when I was watching. And then I saw where Toafili fumbled, which gave him, the 22 points. And then found out that they scored again. We didn't score. So it was very interesting, to say the least. And I wouldn't say expected, because they had a chance at one point to get a 3-score lead.
Yeah.
And they squandered those opportunities by making mistakes. And, I mean, the old adage, if you're up big, and really the only way that teams can come back is through turnovers. If they start getting turnovers or even stops, early stops, then that can swing the momentum. And we had a few of those. The offside kick set up where Trey Benson fumbled on the kickoff, which they just scored before that, and they gave them momentum. So it's just those types of things that they weren't focused, and almost came back to bite them. But as Coach mentioned, the goal is to win and correct those mistakes that they made, which a lot of them were self-inflicted.
Yeah.
Sense of just taking care of the ball, and then defensively they needed stops down the stretch to secure the win. So it was one of those ones where you just happy you won. Next week.
Yeah.
Now, but Boston College really gets up. That's that red bandana game that they play every year.
Mm-hmm.
They really get up for that game. That's usually when they play their best home game of the season. So I think that may have played into it. And I think Florida State may have been reading their press clippings a little bit. Like you said, Charlie, they wasn't taking care of the small things that are important. But I think they'll bounce back this week. And evidently, Vegas didn't believe in Boston College making them a 14-point underdog at U of L this weekend, which blows my mind.
I think a lot of times you as you're a young person, you look at the schedule and it's almost impossible for you to think, oh, we can beat them. Not to think, oh, we can beat them. And then you look ahead and you say, man, but next week though, that's going to be the game. So then you get on the field and you start playing, and it's true. You are better than them. And so, in that first half, they took control of that first half. Wasn't a huge lead going into halftime, 17-10, but they were very much better. And then they come out early in the second half. They put up 2 touchdowns, go up 31-10. So you're thinking, we got it. It's over. I think they just lost focus. I just think, they just lost focus. You're ready to, now you start thinking about what we're going to do after the game, and, you just lose focus. And it happens, which is probably what happened in our next game with Louisville, Indiana. They came out and busted. They came out stand still almost immediately. And it was like the first half was so dominant that you was like, oh man, it's gonna be a rout. Then Indiana was like, not really though.
Yeah, well, that one though, the final score is about where I thought it would be. I think I may have said something close to that when we was talking about it last week. But yeah, Louisville came out, and the way they were moving the ball in the first was shocking, to be honest with you, because Indiana's defense had been playing so well at the beginning of the season. How they played in the second half is more what you expected from Indiana's defense. Yeah. They came out with that onside kick. And we saw it in the Super Bowl. It was the Saints and the Colts that year when they had that onside kick coming out of halftime, and it totally shifted momentum. And that totally happened in that game. And like you could literally see it happening. And but shout out to U of L's defense for that goal line stand, and then shout out to Jack Plummer, who made plays because after they got the goal line, it wasn't like the goal line stand was in the final 30 seconds of the game. Right. They had to hold on to the ball, and Jack Plummer had two big runs, and shout out to the play calling on that too, because those were designed runs for the quarterback. And he got out and he got 2 first downs, and they was able to escape with the win. And then Jawar Jordan had the most carries he's had all season. He went over 100 yards again.
Yeah, he looked great.
And so Jamari Thrash in that first half was unbelievable. And he had another touchdown called back. It was a legitimate hold. If it wasn't for the hold, it perhaps wouldn't have gotten off. But the catch and score he made on that play, even though it didn't count, I mean, that dude is something else.
Yeah, he's really
him and Jawar Jordan are just on a totally different level than everybody U of L's faced so far. And they, like I said, that onside kick just threw everything off. It's weird to see it, but we've seen it on every level when plays like that just change the momentum of the game.
I'll say this about both games, and then I got a question for you, Charlie. Good to get these games out of your system early. It's probably even better as a coach because you get to fuss at the kids in the midst of a win. And you get to say all those things that we're talking about. You can't self-inflict. You can't lose focus. This is a long season. We got to lock in. You get to say all the things you need to say, and you get to do it early. But I do want to ask Charlie this. What's the easiest way to get momentum back when it swings like what Kendrick just said? When all of a sudden Big Mo jumps to the other side of the room or the other side of the field, what's the easiest way to get your players back focused? Or is there an easy way to get your players back focused?
Well, I mean, it helps to have players that can make
starts.
I mean, that's normally when you see comebacks or momentum swings. You normally need your playmakers to step up and make plays. Defensively, it's a collective group. But if you need a sack to put the team behind the chains, then you need one of those guys or a couple guys, whoever it may be, to step up and make plays. Or a nice interception, cause a fumble, whatever the case may be, to be able to get that momentum back. And then from an offensive standpoint, you got to be able to put drives together to be able to sustain the football to grab momentum. But if momentum is going and you get 3 and outs and 3 and outs and 3 and outs, the momentum continues. So that's why it's important to be able to sustain drives from an offensive standpoint when there's momentum swing. And then special teams wise, you got to be able to capitalize on the end of drives. If you're in field goal range and you got to make field goals, and then, on the other side, you got to, make sure you're not giving them opportunities, with fumbles or, holding penalties when you may have a long run, on a punt return or kickoff return. So there's stuff like that where you can, grasp momentum back if you have plays like that.
Do you, as a coach, go to your stars instead of that conversation, or is that just a grab the team together and tell everybody settle down, let's make some plays? What's the path to that turnaround?
Well, it really depends on the game. Because sometimes you can go to your best players and tell them, to bring the group together, or you just give them the ball.
Get out the way.
The offensive deal, just give them the ball and let them do what they do.
It's
And
not
then,
like we don't know. It's not like the team don't know. We got to make a play. Yeah.
right.
Right.
And,
right.
you just
How would you guys evaluate the defense? Because on the one hand, they still only gave up 14 points, even with the momentum going the other way. However, they gave up 2 90-plus yard drives. The second touchdown was on a 90-plus yard drive, and then the goal line stand was at the end of a 95-yard drive. So
Yeah.
how do you gauge how the defense played in that game? Because yes, they only gave up 14 points and pitched a shutout in the first half, but you gave up a whole lot of yards.
No,
Yeah,
I mean, you look at the numbers, and that's a good number. I mean, 14 points, regardless of who you're playing.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what you want. And 21 points is, if you got that in the first half, you're not expecting to be at 21 at the end of the game.
Right.
And so I just think it goes hand in hand, and the goal is to win games, but also learn from things that you can improve. And so I would imagine from a defensive standpoint, there are a lot of some things that you can clean up. But 14 points is good. I think that's Indiana's maybe average the past couple weeks.
Yeah.
But Louisville, they defensively that's a good number, and offensively you would want to at least see more, because if you start out fast, you kind of want to end at least somewhat fast. I mean, you don't want to be at a standstill where you're stuck on the same number.
And shout out to the Indiana quarterback Taven Jackson it was his first start as the starter. He was just named a starter earlier in that week. He played really well. He's the younger brother of Trace Jackson Davis, the basketball star in Indiana. So
I'll say this to you, Kendrick. In 12 quarters of football, Louisville has shut out the opponent in 8 of them. That's pretty
impressive.
Good.
That's
pretty good. So,
well, of course, 4 of those quarters was Murray State.
No, I agree. That's what I'm saying. That's still pretty. But even with
that's 8 quarters against P5 schools. Yes,
that's what I'm saying. So that's still pretty good. So my comment to my defense would be, guys, we just got to clean up the little things and get focused and get locked back in and not have these mental lapses, because even in the 2 games that we're talking about, it's 2 quarters of good defense, 2 quarters of bad defense. So we just got to clean up the little things, and we could have the type of games that we want to have. So, yeah. So anyway, listen, not a lot of this one almost paid off for me. I was
all 3 of us was skeptical on this one.
Well, I just felt like Old Dominion it may be for real, and Wake Forest may not be, and we were almost right on this one. So. But Old Dominion took the L on this one. Wake Forest got the win. No surprises here with NC State and VMI. This game was also at the beginning of the game a little tricky for North Carolina. I think North Carolina is struggling to figure out. They just don't have a defensive identity. They just don't. Now they played better in this game. You're only giving up 13.
Only gave up 13.
Yeah, but it was a I don't know. I don't know if it was so much that they were just so great as much as it is Minnesota's quarterback is not very good. Like, he's just not a great, like, he was 11 for 29 or something ridiculous like that. So I don't know. There's something very wrong with the defensive side of the ball in North Carolina. And I think if they don't figure it out soon, it's going to come back to bite them in the behind in some critical moments. But not a great game overall by North Carolina. Duke is still duking. Beating the team that they're supposed to. Rutgers busted up Virginia Tech in fine fashion. Georgia Tech came back to reality against Ole Miss. Ole Miss might sneakily be the third best team, maybe the second best team.
They might be the second best team in the SEC.
In the SEC. Like, this week is going to say a lot, or maybe not, because I don't know. Alabama's such a mess right now. Syracuse got the. Go ahead. What were we going to say, Charlie?
Who's talking about Alabama?
Yeah, they're a mess. They are a mess.
Don't talk about Alabama. They're finding a quarterback. Once they settle on a quarterback, they'll be fine. Right now, they're just trying to find who that guy is. I think they're.
Don't they already know who that guy is? Like, I don't understand what the audition is for.
Obviously, they don't.
I don't understand what the audition is for. Like, it was a bad audition, by the way.
I'm just saying they got three guys, and one guy, Melrose, is, he didn't play bad. I mean, he scored more points than everybody else from an offensive standpoint. But I think he gives them the best chance to win because he can move. Like, they're trying to throw the football.
They did nothing in that game to convince me that they should have been on the field this early. Like, I just thought they were not the backups, if you want to call them that, were not good at all to me. South Florida actually thought they could win that game.
Right. In the third quarter, it felt like they still had a chance.
They still had a chance. They did. They still had a chance. So,
but didn't the kid, the backup, the one that started, wasn't he at Notre Dame last year?
He was. He was.
Looked bad.
He looked terrible. I mean,
he proved why he's not at Notre Dame this year.
He definitely was not going to start. He was, and listen, any guy that can't beat out Sam Hartman that's very telling.
Hey, Sam Hartman's been playing. He's been balling.
He has.
And we're going to find out about Sam Hartman on Saturday.
We're going to find out about all we know about Sam Hartman this Saturday. That is exactly right. Syracuse did exactly what I thought they would do. Even though
you did not.
But I did. But I really did think that.
Hit the button.
No. I did. Hit what button? What am I hitting?
If that's not a humble flex, if there ever was one.
I didn't pick them, so how's that a humble flex?
Because you said they did what I thought they were going to do.
They did. The struggle that I had in the pick was that I knew they'd go on the road.
That deserves more humble flex than me talking about your quarterback.
I don't know if that's a humble flex, and I didn't pick them. I didn't pick them.
Charlie, you break the tie.
Charlie, you break the tie. I didn't pick them.
Oh, it's no big issue.
Thank you, Charlie. I appreciate you, buddy.
Whatever.
But they did go get the win. West Virginia and Pitt. That was an ugly game. That game seemed to drag on forever, and it was just ugly.
There was not enough money on this earth to make me watch that game.
Oh, it was I was peeking in and out. I didn't stay. It was just an ugly game. Clemson is back, ladies and gentlemen. Or at least they beat FAU.
For the second half.
Yeah, they beat FAU. Listen, I told y'all before the second one is coming this weekend.
So what was the score at halftime?
At halftime it was I don't think they were down, but they sure were not.
Wasn't it close at halftime?
If I remember correctly, it was very close. It was questionable. Let me pull it up here real quick.
I think I was coming back from Indianapolis at that point.
Yeah. Well, no. At halftime, they were up 34-0. Looks like.
No.
Yeah, they were up 34-0.
I got confused with last week.
But you know what? It didn't. But it still didn't look good. Like they're not. They're not good, man. Here's the stat that tells the whole story, in my humble opinion. Cade Klubnik, 16 of 27, 169 yards total. Now he had 3 touchdowns, so you give him that. But it's just not. They're not good.
I'll let that stat slide. His yardage slide just because they were up big and they was running the ball and running the clock out.
I think they're going to struggle the rest of the season, but we'll see.
You said 4. You said 4.
The second one comes this weekend. Yeah, I picked 3 games. TCU got back on there. I think that was my pick, right? TCU. Washington did what they were going to do. And boy, that's a mess over there still. Just I feel bad for them as well. Those kids don't deserve that. And then the shocker of the weekend in the swamp.
And that was dominant too. It was dominant from the get-go.
Yeah, it was not actually close. So that left us with some interesting records this weekend. Kendrick takes a slight lead. 33.
I'm still trying to figure out how the person in third place is first on the graphic.
I don't know. This is how it was. Does it matter?
That's not how standings go.
Oh my goodness. We will make the correction, Kendrick.
That's 2 weeks in a row.
Not sure it matters, Kendrick. You're winning. Is winning not enough for you?
I mean, even if Charlie was winning, first place goes first.
Okay. Can we get to the week 4 games, please? All right. So Friday night.
Casual observation.
I got you. So Friday night we got NC State and Virginia. Every week until they get the win, I'm going to be rooting for Virginia. Now, having said that, it's probably going to be NC State.
Yeah.
But at some point, don't they have to break free?
Yeah. But is NC State good on the road?
Or good? You could have stopped it good. Virginia's one of those where I'm rooting for them, but it's hard for me to pick them until they actually win because they haven't even been in their games, and understandably so. So I'll still go with NC State.
Charlie, send them some positive vibes. Go ahead and pick them, and in that way, they at least got a really strong man of God picking them.
Set Charlie up for failure.
No, I'm trying to help Virginia as best I can.
Mm-hmm.
Virginia.
You picking Virginia?
Nah, I can't go pick Virginia. I mean, even though I like what they're doing.
Lloyd's trying to move up on the graphic.
Their defense is not very good.
Yeah, they're struggling bad. They are struggling bad.
So their best game tonight.
Yeah. Syracuse. They're going to win this one for sure. Just because it's at home.
Yes.
And they don't lose at home.
Until they do. Virginia
Tech and Marshall. I would say Virginia Tech gets off the schneid this week.
I'm going with Marshall.
I think I'm going with Marshall on that one. Why's your face look like that? What's Marshall's record?
I'm shocked. I'm shocked that I'm standing on this Virginia Tech field by myself. Like y'all got inside information or something.
What's Marshall's record?
What am I missing about Marshall?
That they're playing Virginia Tech.
Yeah, but is Marshall that good?
They're 2-0.
Well, listen, having lived right down the street from Marshall for several years, this game is definitely going to be at a fever pitch.
Yes, that's a big game for Marshall to play Virginia Tech. ESPN's predictor has Marshall a 67.3% chance to win.
Am I missing something? Man, maybe I need to switch up my pick here.
No, go ahead.
All right.
Has a black coach.
Marshall has a black coach?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't. My blackness won't allow me to pick against him. So I have to pick Marshall at this point. I'm like this one. I really pick this. Okay. All right. So I'm now. Boy, if I'm wrong, I'm blaming both of you. Okay. Duke and UConn. I gotta believe Duke is going to beat UConn.
Yes.
UConn's currently last place in the ACC. They played almost an ACC exclusive schedule so far.
Much needed last place because they get the pageant schedule a little bit. Miami and Temple. I'm very curious why Miami is so front loaded on their schedule. Like they're playing a lot of. I guess you do that in September. I don't know. It seems like teams had stopped doing that.
Has Miami played a conference game yet?
No.
It's odd.
I don't think so.
That's odd.
It is. It's just a weird. I don't know, but
they haven't.
But they'll destroy Temple, and Temple will graciously take the check.
But Temple's.
Are you picking the upset, Charlie? It sounded like you were.
No. I'm not.
Okay. We're going to give it if you wanted it.
Lloyd's trying to justify.
I'm not trying to do
that graphic.
Long season. I don't know what to do with this game, if I'm being honest.
No, it's a pick 'em.
I'm going with.
What'd you say, Charlie?
I say I'm just going with the home team.
I think I'm with Charlie on that one.
I mean, pick 'em game. You never know which Georgia Tech team is going to show up. You know, I think they're improving, each week in some form. But Wake Forest, they're on the road. They had a tough test on the road, and they were able to overcome it. But they play much better at home.
Charlie, I mean, it feels like Kitty is just going with whatever you say.
No, I'm not.
I don't see any independent thinking here, Kendrick.
Well, Charlie and I usually are on about the same wavelengths when it comes to these picks anyway. And two, you like to take chances.
I don't mind taking a few risks. That's right.
And that's why you're supposed to be at the end of that graph.
I won't be taking risks in this game. And I certainly don't trust Georgia Tech, but Boston College goes into Louisville, and 14 seems like a lot of points.
That is a lot, especially for a Louisville team that hasn't covered against a P5 school yet this year. So I'm picking U of L, but not that spread.
That whatever his name is, Constanellis.
Yeah.
Lanos.
Yeah.
Yes.
Castellanos. Jeff Brom called him a more athletic Russell Wilson on Monday.
Wow.
Yeah. It's not bad. I mean, if he has.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
If he has Zay Flowers.
Yeah, Zay Flowers. That pick Flowers. I might pick Boston.
Going Boston College.
One that gave him a chance to win last week.
Yeah.
Just with his athleticism.
Mm-hmm.
And he makes plays. So it'd be interesting to see how U of L plays him.
And so who's your pick?
I'm going with U of L.
All right. UNC and Pitt.
I think you gotta go Unk.
What's gonna be interesting about this game is that Pitt's gonna look like they're a much better team than they actually are because UNC
on offense, yeah.
You were like, man, Pitt put up some real points in this game. Shout out to Phil Yurkovich.
Pitt put some real points up.
They'll probably put points up in this game because UNC can't stop anybody.
Well, UNC's defense is not bad. They held the last team to 13 points.
Charlie, I'm gonna disagree with you on that one. I
don't believe in North Carolina's defense either.
I don't think they're that great.
They played better last week, though. They did.
They played better last week, but I don't think I still don't think they're great at all.
Well, you're sitting there saying, "Well, you're gonna pick Pitt."
Oh no, I'm not crazy, Charlie. I'm not insane. I'm just saying.
I mean, you pick crazier picks.
Pitt will score against North Carolina.
Didn't you pick Syracuse to beat Clemson last year?
I did. But to my credit, Syracuse almost beat Clemson last year. Mm-hmm. That pick wasn't that far off.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying that Pitt can score more points against UNC than they
No.
did West
Oh.
Virginia?
Yes, probably. Because
Okay.
I would think West Virginia's defense is better than your North Carolina's defense.
You sure?
I think so. I don't know. We'll find out this weekend. I just know North Carolina doesn't seem like they can stop anybody. Like they
So why don't you go ahead and pick Pitt?
I didn't say that. Charlie. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that, Charlie. Don't do that. Don't be that guy.
Give me your best case for Pitt.
No, I'm saying that they'll score points. I'm not saying they're gonna win the game. I'm just saying they're gonna score points. So here's where we end the evening, the pick one game of the week. And we actually have 4 choices this week. You have UCLA, Utah, which is going to be a much
There's some
more
great
difficult
games
pick.
this weekend.
Yeah. Ohio State, Notre Dame. You got Iowa, Penn State, although Iowa lost who was it? I think it was the tight end. Had surgery. I think season-ending surgery. And then, of course, the game that everybody's probably going to be watching, Colorado and Oregon, which, by the way, had a chance to finally see an Oregon tape, if you will, which I watched the Oregon-Texas Tech game because I hadn't seen it. It's not unrealistic to think that Colorado could pull this off. There will be some opportunities for Colorado to win this game. Can they seize them? I don't know. But Oregon's defense is not as dominant as you might think that they are. So I'm curious about that one. I don't know if that's a game I'm gonna pick, but I'm very curious about that game. So which game are you guys picking?
I'm going with Penn State.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't.
Penn State.
Iowa's offense is.
Iowa's offense
last year, but it's not much of an improvement. But their defense is solid always.
Yeah.
But they're on the road too. So if you're on the road, you need some offense. And Penn State has, some offense.
Gotcha. All right. Kendrick, which way are you going this week?
I'm going to pick Ohio State to beat Notre Dame.
Ooh. So you're saying Ohio State has figured out their quarterback situation?
I'm not saying
Marvin and the quarterback are.
I think Marvin's going to be able to make whoever's playing quarterback look good.
I feel so bad for him.
Yeah,
because he's so good. He's so good.
But I think I can be honest with you. I'm not that confident in this pick, but I'm gonna go out on. I'm not going that far out on a limb. I just think Ohio State's defense will be able to get to Sam Hartman. It's going to be the most pressure he's seen so far this year, and so that's why I'm going to go with Ohio State.
All right. Well, you know what? I will be the lone selector of this game.
I'm staying away from that game.
I probably should stay away from this game, if I'm being completely honest. But I'm going to continue to believe. I'm going to say that Colorado finds a way. There's a reason that Bo Nix is on his 3rd team. And I think
without Hunter is what makes it hard for me to pick Colorado in that game. Losing him.
No, I agree.
You're losing 2 players with that guy.
I agree. That's a blow. But here's the thing that that from an offensive perspective that I discovered. Oregon was struggling to find and contain Texas Tech's tight end. And that comes at a perfect time because it looks like Colorado in that Colorado State game found their tight end for the first time. And if they go back to him like they did, especially in goal line situations, this could be an interesting game at toward the end. So I'm thinking Colorado may shock some people this week. By the way, if Colorado beats Oregon at Oregon, You thought
Oh.
the hype machine, thought the Cowboys was being talked about a lot.
Especially
Oh
going
my
into next
God.
week. Especially going into next week with USC.
Oh, they will have all three of the big stations at their pregame this
So
week.
NBC will be there, and
That's
NBC.
what I'm saying. They're a Notre Dame station. And they'll be like, we're going to play the Notre Dame game, but we'll be in Colorado.
They're the Notre Dame and bad Big Ten games.
Sunday night football might be at Notre Dame. In Colorado.
Collinsworth.
It's gonna be at a fever pitch if they pull this off. So there's our picks for the week, everybody. Hope you listen. We like to say here, if you're using betonline.ag to bet at all, and you're using us as the guide, it doesn't really matter which one of us you're using. You're making money, a lot of money actually. You've done quite well. Your Christmas is setting up very nicely. So, not that we're all in condoning it, but
It is today's world.
It is today's world. Okay. Do we have any shout outs?
It's like Popcorn World. Popcorn World. Popcorn World.
Buy you some popcorn, sit back and enjoy it. If you order it now, it should be there by Saturday. You got to order like this morning while we're recording. So there you go. There you go. All right. What are your shout outs, gentlemen? What are you shouting out this week?
I'm going to shout out the Netflix show Wrestlers.
Somebody else was telling me how good it was.
I just finished it. It's for those who don't know, it's Ohio Valley Wrestling has been a staple here in Louisville for years.
Forever, yeah.
Big name wrestlers like John Cena and Batista came out of that wrestling, and it's actually been more than that, but those are the two biggest names. And they did a docu-series on that wrestling here in Louisville, and it's taken off. It's done well. It's crazy because the mayor of Louisville is part owner of OVW, so he's in it.
How about that?
Lloyd, your good friend Matt Jones, is part owner. That. He's part owner of OVW, so he's all over it. And my guy Nick Coffey he's part of it too. So it was good to see. It's just fun to see your hometown being featured in a docu series, and it's not negative. Yeah. So shout out to everyone involved with that show.
All right. Mr. Ward.
Well, I'm gonna go with because I stayed up. Shout out to Colorado for taking the blows that they took against Colorado State. It was a very, 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 very late night.
Oh my God!
Yes, it was.
It was well worth it because if you're a fan or football and just seeing a rivalry game, so that was very interesting because Colorado State played really, really well. Not that it wasn't expected, but they were well prepared. They competed at a high level, but just as we keep talking about a team that has just been constructed, they showed a lot of resilience they're after the game, and they were able to overcome. But that dude, Shadur Sanders,
he's a dude.
I just say as long as he's there with the weapons that he has, his O-line, he holds the ball a little bit, but his O-line does a good job of working to give him enough time on certain things. And, he's good. he willed his team on that long 8-yard drive to send it into overtime and then give him a chance, to win it. He just willed them. Like, you could see that he wasn't going to allow them to just go down without a fight. and that is, commendable. And I can appreciate it, not because of the quarterback, but just seeing the mentality. That mentality is, he's different.
Does Shador have some Charlie Ward in him? I think he does.
I'm not sure about. I mean, he's better than I was. I mean, just
Wow.
mechanics and things that his arm strength. I mean, he's throwing ropes.
Yeah.
Back foot, and when you say better, I mean, some of those things he's been doing a lot longer. A lot more training than I had. But the mentality is the same.
Yeah,
I do believe.
very much so. Very much so. For me, I have two very strange. One very off the path. I don't know why I was in a Netflix mood like you were, Kendrick, but I'm giving mine to a very unique individual, Dwayne Coley, who goes by the name on the internet as Country Wayne. For those of you who are familiar with this gentleman, he is an anomaly. He is a guy who is a former street pharmaceutical representative that decided to change his life around, found the Lord and changed his life around, but still is very much relatable to the background that he came from. And he got on the internet and started doing these little skits because somebody told me he was pretty funny. Then started doing stand-up comedy. And I think that was like in 2015 or 16 or something like that.
There, yeah.
And from there, he has managed to garner a following of somewhere between 9 and 15 million people across the platforms that he is on: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. And now he has parlayed that into a Netflix special that debuted 2 nights ago and is currently trending number 1 in the world. That is quite a story.
Nice.
Quite a story. Very inspiring. So shout out to Mr. Coley, Mr. Country Wayne. And then, of course, after taking a brutal beatdown 2 weeks ago from the Houston Astros, a brutal 3-game beatdown. I mean, brutal. My guys, the Texas Rangers are half a game back from winning the division.
So you can muster up a way to cheer for one team that's in Dallas.
That's the only Texas team I cheer for. The only one. And I'll have to tell you guys a story later, but that is the one Texas team I will cheer for. And I love cheering for them because they're just a great organization. So they are doing their thing. I'm proud of them because they could have folded after that. They took a beat down 2 weeks ago from the Astros, like 3 games in a row. I think they double-digit beat them. It was ugly, and somehow they lost Scherzer for the season. So it looked like it was all going to go into the tank, and somehow they got back together, and now they are a half a game back from winning the division. It appears that at worst, if they keep playing like this, they're going to make the wild card, but they could win the division in the next few days. So it'd be nice to see that. So shout out to my Rangers. Okay. That was fun. That was a lot of fun, as it always is. We appreciate you guys for tuning in, coming back to watch it when you do. Keep doing it, and we'll keep producing it. Keep trying to produce a good show for you. But that is the great Kendrick Haskins, though I'm going to start calling him Slim Shady. Shady today.
What did I do?
You shady today. You started the whole show.
Yeah, I just think this is
rough. It's a rough day for me. Rough day for me.
It's just your allegiance to the clouding.
Hey, shout out to my Giants. I'm gonna tell you the same thing that a mother would tell her child if they were going to play somebody that was far greater and better than them than you can imagine. Baby, just go do the best you can tonight. Just go do the best you can tonight. We have no expectations. Just go do
Just get out of there healthy.
if you can get out of there without any injuries tonight, we're gonna call that the win. That's gonna be the win tonight. So anyway, enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you guys next week. You've been listening to Believe in the ACC with Charlie Ward, Lloyd Spence, and Kendrick Haskins. Please like, follow, subscribe, and share from the Noisemakers page on Facebook and on YouTube. And you can also listen to us on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, and wherever podcasts can